Okay, so now we have access to this dev portal that can be fully customized as it's currently using a template. I've logged in as this user and I can see this API. You can create these API keys up front with Kubernetes secrets and so on, but it's very common that you would want to let this user manage their own API keys while being able to rotate these keys when they want, and also probably also wanting to scale to thousands or dozens of thousands of keys, which is not something you would normally or easily do with a Kubernetes secret. So we can update this extra policy we have created for the API authentication and just remove the Kubernetes secret storage option and change through the metadata, because here we are using the usage plan instead of plan. So if I configure that, this means that now I want basically all keys to be stored in Redis, so users use Salt to make sure everything is secured. And we basically automatically allow the users to create and manage their keys in the portal and store these keys with the associated metadata in Redis. So I'm just going to apply this here. And now as a user here, you see I am authenticated. So I can go to API keys and I can see that I have access to one plan that's called Gold, but there's no API key created yet. So I go here and I create a key called key 1. And you can see this right here. It says you cannot retrieve the key because it's stored with the salt in the Redis database, right? It's like in most cloud providers, right? If you lose your API keys or anybody else's, you need to create a new one, and you basically get this key once, and that's fine if you forget about it. You can just create a new one. But what's nice is that as a user, if I want to rotate my key now, I can create a key to update my application using this key. And when everything works fine, I can delete my old key. So I can really rotate everything manually on my side. So what we are going to do is we're going to let me just probably keep that key right here just in case I need it later. But I want to show that we can now use this key to access this API also from the UI. So if I go here in this UI here, I can see the redoc view, and here I can also see the Swagger view. So the Swagger view will give you this ability to have this try out button, and you can authorize your request so that I can say, okay, this is my API key that I want to use, which is the one I just created. And now I can use this /API/bookinfo to list the products. And if I click on try it out, then I can send a request to get this expected 200 response code. So it's quite nice. Obviously, you can use this API key directly, and you can use this random view to see the API if you prefer this view, because it's generally popular. And there's one last thing I want to highlight, is that as a user, I can download the Open API specification. What's interesting if I open the specification is that you can see that the path corresponds to the path we have exposed to the end user. And you can see the /API/bookinfo, which is not the right path we got from the back end. Because if you remember, we do this like the path 3, right? So that we have to send the right path to the end user. And this is possible because what we'll do is we'll either discover the API docs or create them manually. And then what's happening is that automatically the platform is going to create this new API doc that is called Stitched, which is going to be recreating from scratch an open API spec that has the right path that the end user is supposed to be using. So as you can see, this is quite powerful. And as I said, now we can let the end user create these API keys, being able to use it as a self-service, being able to use them and being able to try out the API. Now, as you can expect, after 5 calls, I get the 429 because I've been rate limited because of the fact that I'm part of this gold plan, and the user can see also some of the information about this metadata. So you cannot access the API key anymore, but you can see that this is okay. This key has been created with the metadata, with this gold plan, and the email of the user that we got from the JOT token that's coming from the OIDC workflow.